a proactive versus a reactive mindset. Now, understand, if you have a reactive mindset, you're going to be reacting to life. You don't really think. You don't use your cognitive functions to navigate yourself to the best of outcomes. If all you do is react in life, you will inevitably be transforming into things you don't want to transform into. When we look at chemicals, and it transforms through reaction. So when you react to life, you will inevitably transform into things you don't want to, because you don't have control over yourself. You don't have control over your emotions. You don't have control over your mind. You are feeding negative habits, the addiction, the weed, the smoke, the drink, the porn. I mean, the list goes on. We have people that exist that are addicted to video games. I mean, the list is infinite. But to have a reactive mindset is to always be underneath power, to always not have control. So when we look at a proactive mindset versus a reactive mindset, what grants you power over your mind is the way you respond and the way you react to things. So when you proceed to proact with a proactive mindset, now you have control. Now you have a domineering will that can dominate in certain situations that you couldn't and wouldn't have if you reacted like a bitch. Women react to situations and they, act out of order. But as a man, if you don't have control over your mind, if you are trying to fight someone all the time, if you always have to argue to prove a point, if you have to sit there on your phone and complain about a certain situation, you're reacting instead of adversing what you reacted to and proceeded to proact towards the solution. You rather sit there and yap away about the problem. You rather sit there and gossip like a fucking pussy, like a bitch, like a fucking girl, than actually make moves towards the solution of that problem. So when we look at your mindset and we say, okay, a reactive, instinctual, primate, hominoid type of mindset, you react to life. You're not thinking thoroughly. You're not using your mind. You're not using what the fuck you have to actually navigate yourself towards better outcomes. So as long as you have a reactive mindset in life, the only thing you're going to do is always fail yourself for the best outcome. You will always fail moving towards that best outcome because you don't have control. If you react, if you can't even control your mind to proceed towards the outcome with basic situations, if you can't have control over your mind, if you're always constantly reacting to life, you're inevitably going to transform into something you don't want to be. It's simple. It's reactions. When we look at the concept of reacting, when we look at chemicals, it's the best analogy because that's what the fuck you're made of. When we look at chemical reactions, they transform, they spike, they explode, they react. That's what the fuck you're doing with your mind every time you lose control, every time you get into that reactive, primitive, primordial state of mind. You are in a primitive state of awareness. You are in the lowest form. You are existing within the lowest form of awareness, which is the primitive, primordial state of consciousness. So to transcend that, you need to proceed and you need to think thoroughly about your outcome. So many people are in such a reactive state of motion, such a reactive state of awareness, that they will react against their best interest and end up in a situation, prison, getting in trouble, getting expelled, getting, kicked out. All these things correlate to your mindset and how weak you are to not become aware to the fact you're in a reactive, primitive state of awareness. You are in a low form of consciousness and you are continually, perpetually, and instinctually influxing your own deficits. You are creating deficits for yourself through your reactive mindset. So instead of creating deficits for yourself, how about you start operating from a higher level of intellect and use your fucking mind for what it's for, and think about how you're going to react and proceed and proact towards better solutions in your life instead of remain a fucking instinctual, primitive fucking primate reacting to life like a bitch. It's that simple. You either react like a dumb fuck or you understand that to think thoroughly about the solution and to diligently and effectively with high efficacy move towards that direction with knowing that you're going to solve the problem instead of reacting to it. You know that the problem is solved. All you need is the instructions to solve that problem. And how do you get the instructions? Well, you sit down and you think about how the fuck you'll solve the problem. You can't solve shit if all you're doing is reacting to it. Matter of fact, if all you do is react to it, you become the problem. You didn't solve the problem. Now you're just adding more energy into it. Now the problem is a fucking ginormous energy ball, and you cannot fix it by yourself. Now you need to depend, and now you're no longer a sustainable, self-sufficient organism on Earth. Now you've depleted yourself by reacting to life. You have now lowered yourself into a position where now you need other people to help you get out the problem you are trying to solve. So every time you react, you lower yourself, and you lower your ability, and you lower the capacity to become aware of solutions around that problem to fix the problem. If all you do is sit there and complain, all you're going to do is create cadences in your brain. So instead of sitting there like a bitch and understanding that if all you do is complain about something, it'll never get done. So transform your mindset from a reactive state of consciousness, the primitive instinctual state of awareness, to a higher form, which is to proceed and proact and be an individual who is going to navigate themselves towards proclivities to proceed and produce better outcomes and solutions for what the fuck is in front of them. Now, if you cannot transform your mind from a reactive to a proactive state of awareness, then you are rendered an inferior primate through your own conduct and behaviors. Because only primates are reactive, and humans that have an actual comprehension of intelligence and can actually recognize the intelligence and the mind that they inhabit, you inhabit your existential awareness. So what are you going to be aware of? The deficit, and you're going to compound that into the abyss of inevitable failure, and you're going to react and transform into something that is going to dissonate you from your best self, because that higher self is proactive. Give me the solution. Give me the answer. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing, and I'm not going to stop myself from solving this problem. If it needs to endure, if I need to endure something, if I have to transform myself into different things that make me feel uncomfortable just to solve this problem, that is what I will do. If I have to endure, if I have to dissipate my ego, if I have to go against myself to solve this problem, then this is what we're gonna do. Some of you are so busy feeding that ego to feel good, reacting to life, you are filling your ego with potent energy to just constantly deplete you. Your ego's so big that you can't even apologize to certain people in your life. That is a reflection of you. You wouldn't apologize to yourself. Everything in your life is a reflection of you. Life is a mirror, not a fucking window. So get off your fucking phone, make moves towards your goal. Self-development, link in the description. One-on-one mindset coaching in the description. Now, if you aren't being a proactive individual and moving thoroughly and diligently and effectively towards the outcomes that you need in life, because you only live once, and to understand to compromise your one experience that you have on earth and to continue as this primordial, instinctual, non-intelligent individual who will continually operate from a state of conscious deficits, aka a lower form of existential awareness, and to not be aware of the solutions that you should easily fucking solve to have a better life for yourself, instead of projecting it and becoming a problem through your own actions and behaviors, to be a despondent and always correspond to lower forms of expression in the universal influxuation of influxing within the universe, aka existence. Come on. How far are we going to go? Are you going to continue to react to this situation in the most negative, most piece of shit, bitch way of responding to it? Or are you ready to become that best version of yourself who will do nothing but produce specific outcomes which align with their best interest, like every fucking organism on the fucking planet? You are the only organism on the planet that will seek in the worst outcome for themselves. So make the choice, because the power is within the choice. And if all you're doing is making noise in your brain, aka feeding cadences that are just reactionary, compulsionary states of awareness, which is instinctual and primordial and low as fuck, you're rendered an inferior primate by conduct, right? So let's shift from reactionary to proactive, and let's make a difference within your life. Peace!